Steady your breath, let your mind get clear. Welcome your heart to this place called here. Steady your breath, let your mind get clear. Welcome your heart to this place called here. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. If you listen to yourself in the quietude, you might hear the voice of God. The voice of God. The voice of God. You might hear the voice of God.
Welcome to the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. We are vibrantly and joyfully here today, expressing out to you a wonderful, wonderful day we have. And so glad that you have joined us today to be a part of our service. Thank you so much. And we're going to begin with a new musician we have today who I think you're going to find delightful. We've been listening to him this morning and just enjoying his music, John Stringer, and I'll tell you more about him in a bit, but now just enjoy his opening song.
Good morning, Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living. So good to be here with you. And this opening song is one I hope you know, and if you don't, it's from the legendary Ricky Byers. There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say if you're discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Sing it with me. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for I am free. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, yeah, yeah. Great job, everybody. Thank you for singing along.
How wonderful. You can see why we're so excited about having John Stringer here today. What a beautiful and alive voice he has. He actually is a Billboard charting singer-songwriter, also a healer, an author with a passion for music, community, expansion, and limitless love and light. And you can just tell that in the way he brings his music across. So thank you, John. He has written some top 10 best-selling Billboard charts, performed throughout the U.S., including U.S. Armed Service tours. His music has been featured on major network television. And that's all the left brain stuff, but the right brain stuff is he considers himself a channel of spirit, and you can feel that vibration coming through him. So we're so excited to have him here, and you'll hear more from him obviously later. So thank you for being here, John. I also just want to welcome not only John, but all people who are joining us today, whether this is your first time or you've been joining us many, many times through this virtual channel. And we like to raise our hands to bless you right wherever you are and simply say, we bless you today, knowing that the peace and happiness you seek is also seeking you. We honor your inner radiance as you let your light shine in the world. We are grateful for your presence in our community. And our vision and mission statement we like to repeat. Our vision for the Napa Valley Center for Spiritual Living is we are an inclusive community for spiritual growth and compassionate action. And our mission, we are co-creating a world that works for everyone by living intentionally, loving unconditionally, and seeing God in all people and all faiths. So glorious to have that here. We're still in the backdrop of having the Sip and Savor. We're basking in the gratitude for such a wonderful time, and a reminder that if you did purchase any silent or live auctions, to come by the office on Tuesday and Thursday to pick up certificates or the objects, or to email Mary and arrange a time to be able to pick those up. I also know fall has officially arrived. If you are around Napa or anywhere, wherever you might be, you can tell that there's shorter days and the sights of pumpkins and decor in the stores, as well as the smells of smoke. You know that's been around. A little clearer day today just because the wind shifted, but that's also means the smoke is going elsewhere and concerns about the fire spreading. So although it's saying it's 17% contained, that means it's not finished yet. So we continue to encourage you to be safe, to be guided, to evacuate, to be in a safe place whenever you need to take care of yourself, as well as prayers and thoughts for first responders, for our CAL FIRE and all fire people from around the nation that are here fighting the fire for us and with us. So we appreciate that. And we also know the universe brings a natural and perfect order to cool and extinguish these flames, these fires, and just knowing a blessing to all of you, and may you be safe and well. And if you need any kind of support, please let us know. Reach out, and we're glad to be able to support you in other ways. And anyway, and along with that, I just want to remind you, we have several systems in place for support that are available to you. Please take advantage of them. All of them are listed on the website, but I just kind of want to list them and remind you quickly that on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. we have a sharing and prayer time on Zoom. On Wednesday nights we have a meditation, and it's on Facebook. I'm also going to start putting a Zoom link in there. So if you're not on Facebook, you can see us on Zoom as well. And then also there's meditation in Spanish on Wednesday nights. If you're interested in that, you can contact Mary at the office to get information about that. So both in English and Spanish on Wednesday nights. And then Thursday night, there's a special spiritual recovery group, Heart, Mind, and Spirit Recovery Group. And the information is on the website about that, led by Connie Millimaki and Shauna Marshall. And then this Friday, a return of our virtual game night. And that's also on Zoom link. We've done different kinds of charades and scavenger hunts and different things. It's always been great fun. So join us for that. So different ways. And if just reach out with email or prayer request online, any of those ways are ways also to find support as well. So this is October, and every October is our prosperity month. So during the messages, we talk about laws of abundance and how they apply in our lives. And this particular month, where our theme is celebrating vibrant and joyful abundance. And today it's about the vibration of prosperity. We usually have a appreciation dinner this time of the year, which I am always looking forward to. And with our social distancing, it just wasn't the right time to do it this year. So another event that we grieve the loss of, and yet there is still much we can do to celebrate. You all received letters of appreciation for the efforts you have. I know this year has been challenging for, I think, all of us in different ways. And we know that your giving might be less and it might be more, and it may be not at all because of the situation you're in. And we just enjoy your participation here in our community. And any way you can support us through prayer, through financial giving, we really appreciate that. Also, there will be, with that letter, a new card of intention for 2021. I know when many of you filled out the card for 2020, or perhaps you weren't part of our community yet, who would have predicted what 2020 has become? So we know that 2021 hopefully will be a little more predictable, but really by you estimating how much you'll be giving in 2021, it helps the board put together to be a good steward with our budget and knowing how to spend appropriately and what to predict. Just like any business we run, that's good to do. What we know is that as we move forward into 2021, there's always abundance and prosperity, and we're just allowing it to unfold in perfect ways, and know that truth for you as well. Also in October, we choose a new movie each year to be a metaphorical guide for our messages, and this year we're choosing Black Panther. Now I know some of you may think it's a little bit on the violent, not a little bit, it's pretty violent in parts, but remember, it's a metaphorical movie, so it's a metaphor for our own inner struggles, our own inner things that we need to conquer and challenge. Also, Kristen Moore is developing a curriculum, a children's curriculum for the Black Panther movie. And if you're, what's great about it, it's not more Zoom. Your kids, I know, are done with Zoom, but really any age from 2 to 18 can get something out of this and to look at the deeper meanings of Black Panther. So we have, she's going to have this curriculum available. You can email Kristen at nvcsl.com to receive an electronic version of it, or we're going to have printed copies, and you can just come by the office to pick up a packet. But please let us know ahead of time so we know we have enough printed out. So thank you. So as we enter our sacred time, I just want to be in prayer for all those people who were affected by the fires or by health challenges, for the first responders, and definitely including our President and our First Lady in our prayers, and all people who've been affected by COVID, and knowing that we continually have guidance and clarity to be guided, to be safe from the fires and from COVID, and knowing that Spirit is with you. My favorite simple prayer is the one offered by Buddhists to remind you that may you be happy, may you be well, may you be safe, and may you be peaceful and at ease. And what I know is you can use this phrase for anybody you're thinking of. So take a moment to imagine somebody that you are holding prayers for and simply say it with me. Let me pull that up as a... May you be happy. May you be well. May you be safe. And may you be peaceful and at ease. And now we turn to John to bring us into music at this sacred time.
I wanna say thank you for the way you gently open my eyes. No matter what I do, your love is always coming through. When I look in any situation and I say yes, I say yes, I say yes to your love. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And take my hands, do what you will, and take my voice, do what you will, and take my all, do what you will, and let your love flow through me. I know you will know the plans to prosper me. Yes, give me hope in the future, and I say yes. I surrender, and I say yes, yes, and I say yes. Great Spirit, I say yes. Father, Mother, I say yes to your love. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Good morning, everyone. This is a time in our service when we want to move into our inner awareness. So just take a moment to just pull your energy in and come into that space of inner awareness, that witness observer self. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes or just have a soft gaze. And just take a nice deep breath in and release, releasing into that center, that place where we connect with God, with Spirit. And just know the Divine Spirit is surrounding you right now, supporting you, moving in and around and through you. knowing that Divine Spirit is blessing this service today, knowing that you are open and receptive in that connectivity to receiving whatever you need to hear today from this message or from the song, from this beautiful music from John, knowing that reaches you in any way that it needs to. And just knowing that this sacred time together is blessed in this community, even though we can't be together in person. Thank God for this technology and Zoom, and so that we can still be present virtually, that we can still be surrounded by community and be blessed and supported. So we just take a moment to be in silent and just commune and connect with Divine Spirit and with our community. And just knowing from this place of sacred silence, we give thanks for this time together, for these messages given, for the song and the music and the lyrics, and just being in community and being in connection with Spirit. We just give thanks for this. And we release it into the law of mind, knowing that all is well, all is good, and all is as it should be. And we say amen, and so it is. And now we move into a little bit of self-reflection on my part. So I have a quote for you, since it's the month of abundance. This is from Wayne Dyer, and I found this really moving and so true and very simple. Abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into, which takes me into a little story of my own of abundance. Over a year, 2 years ago, I started thinking about wanting a little travel trailer for camping, and started looking around, having trouble finding what I really wanted, and also not being, and also making excuses to not, I was arguing for my limitations. So, I was making excuses. I don't have enough money, or I don't want to spend the money, or the ones I really want are too expensive, or making that commitment, that financial commitment to buy a trailer, and then all the things that entails, camping by myself. And I was a little nervous about doing that. And then also had an old trailer at my ex-husband's house. He ended up with it when we got divorced, and he used it for hunting for about 5 years, and then it's just been sitting there for 15 years. So I even went out and looked at that, and it was in really bad shape. And some of my friends there in Napa, have actually seen the before and after pictures. And so they know how awful it looked. And some of my friends here went and looked at it with me, and they were very kind. They didn't say anything like, Lou, I don't know about this. I don't think you can do this, but that's a big job. but I still hemmed and hawed. And again, that was also like, I heard these people in some ways, and my own doubts, like, I don't think I could do this. This is too big a job. But then working with my mentor, I was bringing this up a couple times, and she said this most simplest thing. I was like, what do you want? And I really took that in, and I really heard it, even though I've been asked that many times before. Somehow this one really, I went in deep with that question and connected with spirit. And in that connection, I found clarity. I mean, it was just clear as a bell that I did want to do this. I did want to transform that old trailer into, those, a lot of people are doing the vintage glamping trailers. And I just really, really wanted to do this. And it really came from this place of my intuition and my authentic self and what it is that I want. And because I came from that place of connection and truth, the abundance just poured out. All of a sudden, my cousin in Michigan said, come on out, I'll mill a tree for you, and we'll take down the part that got water damage, and I'll put cedar wood in there. And so I did, and my sister went with me. And we had a wonderful 2-week trip, drive out to Michigan. And then coming back, my ex-husband said, I'll help you. And my sister helped me, and my other sister helped me. And it's not that I didn't run into a bunch of snags, but the abundance of help and support just came out of nowhere. I didn't even ask any of these people for help. They just offered it. So there was this abundance that just showed up, and gratitude, because I was coming from a place that, and even though there was times when there was some struggles with it. I had to repaint my stove 3 times. I mean, stripping and repainting, but there was joy in it. Everything that came up, even in the obstacles, there was joy, because it came from this place of abundance of spirit, abundance of truth within my own self. So that's my little story and reflection on abundance. And that, I had another little quote. Oh, here it is. Excuse me. So just connect with God and find that truth within yourself. Excuse me. And then by Rumi, live life as if everything is rigged in your favor. This little beautiful quote. So with that, I say amen and blessed be, and carry on in your abundance.
What a perfect reflection, Luann. Thank you for that. This is a song about recognizing that everything is for us and letting go of the resistance in all its forms, whether it's attachment, whether it's unfavorable judgment, whatever it is. Check it out. There's a feeling we all want. Sometimes it seems impossible, but it's truly what you came here for. Let me show you how to feel it more. A feeling once you learn to navigate, accepting all you contemplate. Let go, my friend, and don't resist. Trust into this and feel the bliss. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not hard when you choose differently. What you want ain't always what you think, so be here now. Accept it all and just allow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's exactly how it should be. Sufferings, resisting what you don't want to feel. Accept it all and be healed. Whatever comes up in your soul, recognize it all and just let go. Release the labels, let it flow. Allow and know what you know. If your feelings, thoughts, and stimuli are all a part of the divine, then all is well and always is. Trust into this and feel the bliss. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not hard when you choose differently. What you want ain't always what you think, so be here now. Accept it all and just allow. yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's exactly how it should be. Sufferings, resisting what you don't want to feel. Accept it all and be healed. Before you were born, you chose this life to remember you were love and light. Understand that it's all here for you. A plan to help you know the truth. The divine uses everything to show you its love. Are you remembering? If there's one thing you can trust, you can always count on love. Yeah, 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 yeah. Whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. You can always count on love. La di da di da da. La da na 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 na. Ooh, ooh, ooh. There's a feeling we all want. Sometimes it seems impossible, but it's truly what you came here for. Let me show you how to feel it more. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's not hard when you choose differently. What you want ain't always what you think, so be here now. Accept it all and just allow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Everything's exactly how it should be. Sufferings, resisting what you don't want to feel. Accept it all and be healed. Be healed, yeah, yeah. It's not hard when you choose differently. What you want ain't always what you think, so be here now. Accept it all and just allow, yeah, yeah. Everything's exactly how it should be. Sufferings, resisting what you don't wanna feel. Accept it all and be healed, yeah. Namaste.
Ready. Oh, how wonderful, John. Such a delightful. I haven't heard a lot of your music, and I'm just enjoying it today, almost forgetting what else I'm doing today. So you're taking me to a different place. I sure appreciate that. And so fun to have Luann here from Montana, a practitioner who was here for many, many years, and she moved back to be with her, take care of her parents in Montana. So it's so good to have you streaming in, and a beautiful spiritual reflection this morning and wonderful prayers. So thank you for being present all. So October, here we are. Sometimes it's hard to know month to month, but we know that there was a full moon and there's going to be another full moon in this same month. So it's I think we can keep up with that even if we don't know what month it is. But one thing we do want to keep up with, yesterday was October 3rd, exactly 1 month till Election Day. And there are so many important things on our ballot this year, from local election to statewide propositions to state elections and national elections. So please, please, please consider your vote wisely and do vote. And it's just important to do that. So we continue to celebrate, or starting today to celebrate, this vibrant and joyful abundance. And what's interesting in 2020 is that you may not feel like there's a lot of flow in your life, that there's been a lot of change in there, and yet what's the constant is the Spirit, and Spirit is the source of our true abundance. And if anything that we want to emphasize this month is that is it. That Spirit is our source. It's not money, it's not our job, it's not a check we get in the mail. It is Spirit itself that comes through this. And this idea of joyful and vibrant abundance has really been exciting me. I used to take a martial art, be a student of martial art called Aikido. And the master of that, the originator of all this, his name is Morihei Yoshiba. And he had a quote about always practice the art of peace in a vibrant and joyful manner. And I love that because we don't think of peace as being vibrant and joyful, but how about if we practice everything in our life in a joyful and vibrant manner? That is the source of it, that it comes from the very source of the vibration within us and the joy within us, the love within us, and we can practice the presence, practicing spirit in our lives simply by being aware of it and being that which is. And this month we have a delightful movie called The Black Panther. I just loved this movie in every aspect of it. That is such an interesting way to look at the way that both individuals in this movie and the community that is Wakanda, that's part of this movie, they, throughout the movie, are looking at what is ours to do. And I think as our own community can parallel that, and our individually, we seek what is ours to do, because it seems like the world is needy and we can't do everything the world needs, but the world needs what we can do. So we still seek that answer, and we can look towards this movie as a guidance, as well as looking towards spirit about what ours is to do. Now, a couple notes about this movie that are, and the Marvel comic strip that started the movie, that was the source of the movie. The Marvel comic Black Panther was first of all, was the first superhero who was from Africa, and it was first written in 1966. Interesting enough, it was the same year that the Black Panther Party was started, and both were started in Oakland. And yet the writer of the comic strip, I think his last name is Lee, said that it had nothing to do with the Black Panther Party, that it was just coincidental. And in fact, in the early 70s, they tried to change the name of the comic strip, the superhero, to Black Leopard, and it just didn't stick because Black Panther was so perfect name for it. And so they stayed with that name, and that character's been part of groups of superheroes and a series things. But this particular one is about the village that he lived in, Wakanda. And Wakanda was concerned about outsiders changing or destroying it. And when I first watched that movie, it reminded me of places like the Greenwood District in Tulsa, named the Black Wall Street. And actually, its prosperity and abundance, in contrast to the rest of Tulsa, was so extreme that white people revolted and destroyed, burned the town, much of that district, that neighborhood, killing 300 black residents, injuring hundreds more, and leaving 5,000 people homeless, and many businesses, hundreds of businesses destroyed. And it never fully recovered. And what's interesting about that is, you have this imaginary thing about Wakanda, and the information about Tulsa was not really known until more recently, that it was more publicized. So they didn't know anything about that, but the imaginary village of Wakanda had reason to be concerned about an uprising with their abundance and people being jealous, and yet to leave it so secluded, so protected, wasn't really helping anybody at all, and kept those tools and techniques they had within. The other thing I wanted to say is the main character, Chadwick Boseman, sadly enough passed away this year, and Black Panther was one of his last movies. I don't think his last movies. I think he still had a couple in the can, as they say, but was an incredible actor, and so it's a really testament to one of his greatest works that I know of was the Black Panther, and I appreciate the movie on many levels, but I appreciate the art of acting that he was a master of, and so we honor him at this time as well. So the other and the reason why I really chose this movie is because it is so wonderful about being able to show what I would call the hero's journey. The hero's journey is described by Joseph Campbell and so many others about the way stories and movies and books are put together. Now, probably in school, middle school and high school, you learned about the plot line of a story, that there's a problem and there's some way to solve the problem, a building climax, there's, moments of drama, but finally there's a resolution and there's a time where it goes back down. But there's this whole thing. But it's shown in a linear fashion, and really the best way to look at it is circular, that the hero or heroine's journey, it's not about gender, it's about a process we go by, that we are called into action and we move towards resolution, but in order to do that, we need to go through a transformation process. Now, as I said, it's not really about gender. Often things are written about from a male perspective, unfortunately, I think. When I was doing men's work in my early 30s, I ran across an author I really liked named John Eldredge, and a famous quote that I loved, it said, "In the heart of every man is a desperate desire for a dragon to fight, an adventure to live, and a beauty to rescue." But what I realized a decade or so ago, it's not about masculinity or men, it's really about people. It's about masculinity and femininity, and that we all have a desperate desire for an inner dragon to fight, that we want to resolve things in ourselves, and there's an adventure to live and a beauty, not a beauty to discover, not a person to discover necessarily, but beauty in the world to discover. And we're all seeking this. And of course, this is a picture of Mulan, who is, if you follow the storyline, there was the animated or the real live version that's out now. She was on a hero's journey. As was 2 years ago, we did Moana, and she was on a heroine's journey. And last year we did Lion King, and Simba was on a hero's journey. These are all very mythological ways. And let me kind of break this down a little more about when I'm talking about this hero's journey. Is that there's a call to adventure, there's a refusal of the call, a resistance to the call, and then there's some wisdom teaching there. You find a mentor or a teacher, and then there's accepting the call, and then the work, the practice and application of the wisdom that you learn, but there's also trials in this. And then there's a transformation and accepting the change that has happened to you. And then there's some resistance maybe to return back to regular life. And then there's a integration into the new normal and comfort in being and expressing this new you that comes back around. And it moves from the known world and from the known to the unknown back to the known. But I also want to say that often it's depicted this way, but I like it better when it's this way, because when we return, it's a new normal. We can't go back to the old way. But if we do it consciously and intentionally, even if there's trials and tribulations along the way, we're rising up to something greater, a greater integration of who we are. And this can even be around losses that we've had in our lives, that will never return to a time when that person was in our lives, that relationship was in our lives, that job was in our lives. But we come to a new normal, an integration that includes our experiences with this person or this situation. And we rise above that like a spiral that continually goes up. So this new normal, as long as we're doing it consciously and intentionally, becomes a greater expression of who we are. Now, the truth is, if we decide to do it unconsciously, or we take the shorter path, so to speak, we don't want to do the work, then we can return to that old way, but it will never be comfortable. We won't have had the learning, but we'll still return. A friend of mine used to tell me, well, you've paid for the course, you might as well sit down and learn the lesson. And that's the truth of and when I'm talking about the call, when I'm talking about this hero's journey, there's big things we do, relationship changes, job changes, or shifts in what we do in a job, or moving, or new projects we're working on, practitioner training, ministerial training, graduate things, or different things that we do in our lives that are the big calls. And then there's the little calls every day. The little calls of maybe a new task we have to do in our work environment, or a project we're working on at home, and we don't know how to do it. So we first of all, we're going, I don't know if I want to work on it, the resistance in it. I don't know if I really want to do it. Okay, this is important to do. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So you learn about it. You get a mentor, a teacher, or YouTube to teach you how to do it. And you learn how to do it, and you let that be your guide, so you accept the call to start it. And there are trials and tribulations. Lou Ann was telling a great story about, the trailer she remodeled. She said there were problems along the way, but she found people to help her along the way, and it was a beautiful experience because she was willing to ask for help. She was willing to seek guidance. She was willing to move through the challenges that were there. She accomplished something that was a greater experience on the other side of it. I don't know about you, but lately just going to Trader Joe's or Whole Foods is a call, There's the trials and tribulations. Do I really want to go to the store? I don't know. Yeah, there's no food here. Sometimes you are, as Michael Beck would say, sometimes we're pulled by vision, sometimes we're pushed by pain, and the pain of being hungry or not having anything healthy at home. Then, okay, I'm going to do that, but, I need some guidance. I need a list. I need who's been to Trader Joe's lately, what's here. We seek, and we go through it, and we come out, and that can be a simple call. Like I said, it can be small things every day. We go through the hero's journey many times. And then there are big arcs of this hero's journey we do that are bigger. And today I want to focus on, out of this whole thing, mainly on the call. That first thing we have, as I mentioned, Beckwith talks about that we're pulled by vision or pushed by pain. And what I know is that I'm sure you've heard the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting life to change or shift in the way you want it to. The journey around the hero's journey is necessary, and it pushes us out of our comfort and into the unknown. And this pain that we feel sometimes has to be greater than our discomfort, than our willingness to get out of the comfort zone. There are times that I have been pulled by vision, and when I'm pulled by vision, there's more grace, less pain involved. But there are other times in my life when I have waited for the pain to put me out of the comfort zone because I was so resistant. I didn't want to change. I didn't want to move out of that. I knew there would be consequences of relationships and situations, and I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to deal with that. And the pain became greater. I let the pain become greater. And that was okay, because I still got on the path. Once I realized that, I received the information I needed to. You know what it says, when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. The teacher arrives. And the teacher can be a teacher. It can be a mentor. It can be a wisdom teaching. It can be an inner revelation of truth that's happening within you that guides you through the belly of the well, as I talked about last week. The challenges and trials and tribulations we have, it is the vision that pulls us through that time. That remember what we're doing it for, because I want to experience this in this way. So it calls us forth past our resistance. Now I know that I mentioned earlier 2020 had no one predict this one. I don't care how psychic you are, no one predicted this year. And everybody talked about it being this visionary year. Yes, we're going to have 2020 vision. Well, I think we had that 2020 vision, and everything that's not that vision has shown up for us to recognize. And if we really want to create a world that works for everyone, if we want abundance for all, we need to allow this vision to keep pulling us through this time, this difficult time we have. Some for us directly financial, some emotional, some physical, whatever those challenges are different for all of us. And I don't think anyone's been unscathed with some discomfort and pain this year. I always appreciate John Lennon, who said everything will be okay in the end. If it's not the end. We still have more 2020 left, but I tell you, after that, there's 2021. So we open up to this idea, this vision of what we want to experience, in whatever way that is. And for some people during the fires, they were called to leave, and other people, they were called to stay. And I think that's true in our lives, that sometimes we're called to leave a situation, a job, a relationship, a whatever, and sometimes we're called to stay, to work through a situation, to shift it. Even when there are times in that relationship when that shifting happens, and even later maybe we leave, but there's value in the process. There's value in the life and the love that we experience on the way. The hero's journey does not say we meet our wishes exactly the way they are. It is the seeking that is the most important. I know when the board and I and the practitioners went into the Sip and Savor, we were first seeking to raise funds. But as we dived deeper into what Spirit was moving through us, it was a community building. It was a community enriching. And that became our vision focus. The money came, and we're grateful, but it didn't have to for us to have a successful event. It was about the connection that was pulling us forward. And that was the important thing. So when we start talking about the movie Black Panther, T'Challa was called to be the leader of Wakanda, to be king, because his father, the king, passed away. In a violent way, with a terrorist attack, a tragic way. And he had to go through challenges, many, to become king. But he knew his vision, it was his to be king. And yet what's interesting about that situation, about the movie, was that there was already some changes happening in the community even when his father was the king. As I mentioned before, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to shift in the way you want. But insanity is also doing the same thing over and over again and expecting no change at all, because the nature of the world is change. And if we're aware of that and mindful of it, we can stay on top of the wave of change. But sometimes we're resistant, we're not paying attention, so we get knocked and rolling in the waves underneath it. And either is okay. We still come out on the other side. We still are seeking that vision. We move past our resistance. And like Moana, we move to the open water, past the waves. And her island was dying. It pushed her towards her journey. And it pushed T'Challa towards his journey too, because his father passed and he said he was not ready. And in a mythical kind of thing, as he had a conversation with his deceased father, he said, "I'm not ready." And his father said, "You've been ready." He goes, "No, I'm not ready to go without you." So he was still grieving this loss he had of not having his father as his mentor, but realizing that he in fact did have his father the whole time. And we need to know, as we go along this journey, we are never alone. If you want to think having our superhero team we might have, that we have other people around us, we have Spirit with us, we have wisdom teachings, the science of mind philosophy can guide us through it, any and all things. And I love about the village Wakanda that was, they received a gift from the universe called vibranium. This vibranium is a substance that could absorb and store and release energy. I love this idea, and it was a magical metal that ran their whole energy of their whole city, and there was enough available to be of beneficial use to the world, but they weren't sure they wanted to expose themselves to the world. But what I know about spirit, it is like the vibranium within us. It is the vibration of abundance that's within us. We have the ability to absorb spirit, this source of abundance. We have the ability to store it whenever we need it, and we have the ability to release it and use it and express it. As Ernest Holmes says, there's a power in the universe greater than us, and we can allow it to use us. And it is this source of abundance. It is this source of truth within us that allows us to continue to find this abundance anytime we seek it. Now, let me be clear that money, cash, those kind of resources are not the source of our prosperity. They are just a vehicle by which we experience it, but we can experience abundance in many different ways. The reminder that the source of our abundance is not the paycheck, is not the money received in the mail. It is not our investment accounts. It is spirit itself within us. And it moves through us and creates in us. It is about the law of circulation where we receive, we store, and we give. We express, we release, we allow. And it's that movement within us that creates our abundance and the truth of who we are. Spirit is the thing itself. And so when we talk about a vibration of abundance, we're talking about the vibration, the vibranium, the energy of abundance within us. And so as we move forward, we have these calls in our lives, the small and the big calls, and we accept them. We move through our resistance. We have this vision, and perhaps it is prosperity itself. Whatever it is, this joy and abundance we want to seek in our lives, this peace, this love, we know that is the vision of the experience. We don't know what it's going to look like. And sometimes we go into our call having expectations about what it is, what it's going to be, then it might get in the way. We allow Spirit to move through us. As Michael Beckwith says, we don't anticipate something good, we participate in the good. So we are fully involved rather than anticipating, we're participating, and we're willing to be led by this wisdom, by the Spirit within us, as well as the Science of Mind teachings, that we can step into our greatness and that we can manifest at a high level in all areas of our lives. And the first step is just saying yes. So I'm going to go back to John Stringer here for a moment before my prayer, and I just loved his song before the meditation, just saying yes. So allow it, as you think about things in your life that are calling you, allow his words to simply say yes to you.
You can even take a breath as you inhale, exhale, naturally flowing with that beautiful law of circulation Reverend Jay spoke of. Knowing that it is ours to have life more abundantly. And I say yes, Great Spirit, I say yes. Father, Mother, I say yes. To your love, oh You've created me fearlessly and wonderfully to be your instrument. Use me, I surrender in this moment. Let my body be a vessel, let my soul be a temple. Yes, yes. And I say yes. Holy Spirit, I say yes, yes. You know I give my all up to you. And I say yes. You can sing this part with me if you like. It's take my hands, take my hands. Do what you will, do what you will. Take my all, take my all. Do what you will. My voice, take my voice. Do what you will. Let your love flow through me, flow through me. One more time. Take my hands, do what you will. My voice, take my voice. Do what you will. My all, take my all. Do what you will. Let your love flow through me.
And so in this moment, we know the truth of who we are. We let this love flow through us, and we say yes. We celebrate our joyful and vibrant abundance in this moment and our joyful and vibrant spirit within us, and we allow this to be the truth of who we are in all ways. And so it is. Now a little more, John.
Feeling it this morning. Thank you so much, Reverend Jay, for the wonderful, wonderful message. Everything that's been offered in such resonance with. This is a song. It's called That's Love. When your soul feels the passion, rises up in the magic, and when your joy overflows and you're filled with compassion, that's love. That's love. What you see and what you learn, that's not the ultimate concern. It's what you choose to think and be, or feel the truth that sets you free. That's love. Yeah. Oh, that's love. Allow it to flow. Go ahead and get out the way. Let your night turn into day. Allow love to take control. It's about what moves your soul. Yeah, 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 yeah. What moves your soul. All right. That's love. Oh, yeah. That's love. when you offer forgiveness and let go of resistance, when you seek to understand and you lend a helping hand. All right, yeah, that's love. Oh yeah, allow it to flow. Go ahead and get out the way. Let your night turn into day. Allow love to take control. It's about what moves your soul. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, what moves your soul? All right, that's love. Oh yeah, yeah. That's love. Whoa. It's the reason for living, yeah. It's why you deserve it all. No, it's receiving and it's giving. Listen now, can you hear the call that's in love? Oh yeah, that's love. Hey, yeah, that's love. All right, allow it to flow. I am love. Here I am.
I think I could stay here all day listening to that. Thank you. Thank you so much, John, for your music today. Such a blessing you have been for all of us today. So this is a time in our service we acknowledge those of you who've been giving online, PayPal, or sending us checks, and we just have a representative offering plate here, sharing of abundance as we raise it up and affirm divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. We also want to acknowledge our families who are learning at home, online, blessing you right where you are, and a reminder that Kristen is doing this curriculum for Black Panther, so if you're interested in that, please let us know. Mary or Kristen can help you with that, and we'll have copies of it here at the office as well, so let us know. But we just want to love you up too, like we do every week, and just say, we love you, we care about you, and we're here for you. And so it is. Join us for the community connection on Zoom after the service, immediately after. We're only there for about a half an hour, so it's not the rest of your afternoon. Plenty of time to watch your football games or whatever else you're doing today. But come check in with us, even if it's the first time you've done that. It's fun to do. And to end today, we just want to do our community affirmation, so repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. I am led by Spirit. I'm guided by wisdom. I am protected by love. I am here to be a blessing. I am so grateful, and so it is.
As we take this wonderful, wonderful realization in our lives to the world, May we remember, this can be the day that changes everything. The day that it all aligns. And this can be the time we'll remember all the love we've got inside. Together as one, facing the darkness, take a stand for love. We're gonna let it shine. Oh, let's light it up the night and let it shine. You and I. Oh, no, we're gonna let it shine. Hey, you've got the love, you've got the light. Let it shine. You and I, we're gonna let it shine. Oh, yeah. We're gonna let it shine. Hey. This could be the moment when joy comes shining through in love. Yes, it overcomes the night. Whoa, this could be the instant when fear disappears and all we see is the light. As we come together, sisters and brothers, take a stand for love. We're gonna let it shine. Hey, let's light up the night and let it shine. You and I, oh, no, we're gonna let it shine. Hey, you got the love, you've got the light. Let it shine. You and I, we're gonna let the world know that there's more to give when we open up our hearts and set them free. 'Cause we're letting go of the dark stories we believe, and we realize there's more to you and me. Yeah, we're gonna let it shine. Alright, you got the love, you've got the light, and let it shine. You and I, oh, no, we're gonna let it shine. Hey, let's light up the night and let it shine. You and I, we're gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. We're gonna let it shine. Whoa. Namaste.
Thank you. So as we go forward, we know that we listen to our call and we move past our resistance because we are led by the vision of the Spirit within us that is the vibration of joy and peace always. And so it is. May you be well and may you be safe.